When thinking of Amtrak, most people picture a train. Over the past 50 years, we've had many different types of trains to help us connect America. And similar to how fashion trends and style trends change over those years, so has the look of our trains. I'm Matt Donnelly of Amtrak's marketing department, here to explore the evolution of Amtrak paint schemes. In 1970, Amtrak was created by an act of Congress as the National Railroad Passenger Corporation. We took over the operation of passenger train service on May 1st, 1971, from 20 private railroads that no longer wanted to transport people. Many railroads participating in this arrangement gave their equipment, such as passenger cars and locomotives, to the newly formed Amtrak. While there was a logo ready at the start, there was no time or money for the trains to be painted into a common paint scheme, also called the livery. For the first day of operations, E8 locomotive number 4316 received a one-of-a-kind livery for a press event. It wore this unique paint for about a year, making it a short-lived but significant part of Amtrak's history. It was common to see a broad range of predecessor colors throughout our trains in the early days due to the mixing and matching of inherited equipment. It took several years before our trains could be removed from service for painting, making it easy to see why this period is referred to as the Rainbow Era. It wasn't until 1972 that the first full Amtrak livery started to appear, giving Amtrak's trains their own true identity. Back then, there wasn't a need for a livery nomenclature, and it was model railroaders that started identifying Amtrak's liveries as phases. Amtrak adopted this style of nomenclature and calls this livery Phase 1. It features silver passenger cars with large red and blue stripes flanked by white pinstripes through the window band. A white field toward the end of the car held the Amtrak Arrow logo. Locomotives were mostly silver with a black roof and underbody, bold Amtrak red nose for increased visibility, and a large Amtrak arrow on each side. This livery earned the nickname of the Bloody Nose due to the bright red front of each train. Adaptation to the form factor it resided on was sometimes necessary, as was the case with the RTG turboliner. Its stripes were set low below the windows, and the lack of a red nose set the transition for the next phase. Introduced in 1975, Phase 2 was a subtle refinement of the passenger car Phase 1 livery, eliminating the Arrow logo that sometimes had to be abbreviated depending upon where the windows fell on the cars. Locomotives saw a more noticeable change, dropping the red nose and gaining stripes matching the cars. The stripes used then-new retroreflective technology to increase safety, and the Arrow logo was now absent from the livery altogether. Overall, these changes made for a more connected look throughout the train. The Phase 3 livery first debuted in 1976 on the Roar turboliners. This livery has seen numerous variations and adaptations, with a reincarnation in 2015 on the new Viewliner 2 fleet. The LRC train and the AM7 locomotives wore similar variants, with a large low-slung blue field. The classic and most common styling of Phase 3 was internally known as the 888 for its equal 8-inch tall stripes of red, white, and blue. A common theme of Phase 3 is having a more equal representation of red, white, and blue in the striping than on previous liveries. The most unique adaptation came in 1991 on the Dash 8, a rather large and boxy freight locomotive adapted for passenger service. Its award-winning paint scheme was styled to fit its utilitarian body in a bold way, earning it the fan nickname based on a popular cola can from the era. This marked the first time in Amtrak's history that the main Amtrak red and blue colors were changed to what we call Amtrak Deep Red and Deep Blue. These new colors continued onto the Genesis locomotive variants of Phase 3. The first appearance of Phase 4 came in 1993 with the new Superliner 2 car fleet, resulting in a period of overlap with the Genesis variant of Phase 3. Phase 4 shares the same Amtrak Deep Red and Deep Blue colors that debuted on the Dash 8 locomotives, applied in a stripe pattern inspired by the American flag. Locomotives gained a larger presence of silver than ever before, with silver trucks, underbodies, nose, and cab areas. This is known as the Intercity variant and was most common. A Northeast Corridor variant with gray extending off the roof further onto the sides and nose was applied to some P42s and P32 ACDM locomotives. Phase 5 debuted in 2000 on the first generation Acela trains. This marked the introduction of a new color palette with a new primary Amtrak blue color and the reintroduction of original Amtrak red. A host of new accent colors were added, originally used in specific combinations to denote the class of service or function of the car. For example, green was used on food service cars, and dark blue was used on business class cars. This livery soon became common on locomotives like the P-42, but it was short-lived on conventional passenger cars. Amfleet 1 cars were the most common type to receive the livery before the next evolution, but was also found on express box cars and the RTL-3 turboliner train sets. In 2002, the Phase 6 livery was introduced on passenger cars, but has only recently been developed for locomotives. The standard look of our trains for a long period was Phase 5 locomotives with Phase 6 cars. The Phase 6 passenger car livery was based on an update to the Phase 4 livery, adopting the newer color palette, car lettering font, and travel mark logo introduced in 2000. A locomotive variant was announced in 2020 for the first new ALC 42 Charger locomotives expected later in 2021. Amtrak Blue is the primary color, with Amtrak Red used in a more prominent way on the front and dark blue on the roof. The Phase 6 Chargers will also feature a nod to Amtrak's history, with a component of the old Arrow logo and a section of silver toward the rear. Over the years, other Amtrak liveries have been created that don't classify as a phase. These include service-specific liveries, providing a more regionalized distinction for routes like the Pacific Surfliner, Amtrak Cascades, and Amtrak Midwest. The new Acela 2 livery on the next-generation train sets shares the primary Amtrak color palette, but introduces new elements like geometric patterns that differentiate the service. Our work train equipment gets high-visibility colors like bold lime, and we've also developed celebratory and commemorative liveries like those on our veterans locomotives. This unique Midnight Blue livery celebrates our employees who keep passengers moving across the nation all throughout the night as part of our 50th anniversary celebration. It will be rolling across the system soon, along with 5 other specially painted locomotives. The most historically significant will be brand new ALC 42 Charger number 301, currently under construction, and will wear the Day 1 livery. The new Chargers will be numbered starting at 300, and road number 301 was chosen specifically to wear this livery because of it being a one-of-a-kind created for Day 1 of operations. It's expected to be delivered later this year and enter revenue service on our national network after testing is complete in the Northeast Corridor. With new Charger locomotives arriving soon and the planned replacement for the Amfleet 1 cars, the opportunity for a new, comprehensive, and forward-looking livery is upon us. Here's a sneak peek at what will be Phase 7, bringing a greater sense of modernity and cohesion throughout our trains, with efficiency, safety, and wearability in mind. Thanks for joining me in this review of Amtrak's paint schemes. We're looking forward to what's to come in the future.